Okay, you are now one of the youngest partner in such a big firm.
And not necessarily rushing to certain personal milestones,
Hello everyone, my name is Tita from the International Law Moot Court Society FHUI, and I'm joined here with Bang Nico Mooduto to do the ILMS Alumni Profile. First and foremost, to Bang Nico, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, good day, everyone. I am Nico Mooduto from batch 2006 of Faculty of Law Universitas Indonesia. I am currently working at SSEK Law Firm in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Okay, you are now one of the youngest partner in such a big firm and as a law firm. Maybe if we could draw back a bit to your university years, how would you describe yourself as a student during university?
Um, yeah, I think I was a pretty regular student, um, pretty ordinary. I wouldn't describe myself as an overachiever or an ambitious student. I was pretty laid back. Um, you know, did some activities. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
And during your university years, you also did a couple of moots. Can you explain more about like what made you interested to join a mooting competition at first?
Okay. Well, I did IHL, the ICRC International Humanitarian Law Competition, back in 2009 and 2010. The year after, I did the Jessup, the Philip C. Jessup competition in 2011. So how the question was, what got me interested in joining the moot court process was, I had a good mentor named Winchen Santoso. And we're still very close friends to this day. He was the one who sort of tried to encourage and persuaded his friends to join the moot court process. And so I, I bought into it. My first moot court experience was the Asia Cup recruitment process. It was, I'm not sure if it was in 2008 or 2009, somewhere during that period. I took part in the process. It was a very long internal recruitment process. I eventually resigned in the middle of it. I just couldn't bear that. It was sort of a new process for me. I couldn't bear the various many practice sessions. I wasn't used to it, so I sort of bowed out of it. And then I joined the IHL team. I took part in um, in the recruitment process. Unfortunately, I did not get in. I was not selected. And, at that time. But my friend Winston kept telling me, you have to do it again, try it again, and so I did. So the next year, or the year after, I joined the recruitment process again. Good thing was that I did get in that time, and so we had a and so we went through that process. It was a very good experience for me personally, and so I bought into the sort of getting yourself into the next level, and the next level was the Philip C. Jessup competition, and I bought into it, and I joined it, and it was another great experience. And so that was sort of how I got acquainted with the moot court process. Um, as I said, it was a very great experience. I learned a lot of things about myself, met many good friends, established networking, which eventually prepared myself for the professional career that I embarked on after I graduated from the Faculty of Law.
Well, hearing that you've tried a lot of moots and you eventually got into Jessup, how has your mooting experience affected you? You tried again and again. Maybe there were some struggles, some regrets, or some change in perspective that you've experienced during your mooting experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, no regrets, first and foremost. You can't regret, even during the turmoils and the challenges and the hardships, you learned a lot from the process. And so there was no regret whatsoever. Um, Now the mooting experience affected me in a huge and positively great way, right? And primarily the moot court experience teaches us a lot, and it gives us an opportunity and platform to hone the key legal skills needed. Um, Eventually, that is needed for your professional career. And I would say you know, those essential legal skills, comprises, the legal research, legal writing, oral advocacy, and legal reasoning. And you learned a lot, um, you know, and hone these skills from the moot court process. And I would also say about the moot court process itself that is a very long and grueling process. I think it's on average, I think it takes around 6 months, for it to finish. And from that process, or throughout the process, you learned a little bit more about yourself. And I would even say developed a good and hardworking ethos. Um, it cultivated and prepared prepared me for the professional career. Um, and it teaches, it taught me a lot of things, right? From the hard work, discipline, healthy competitiveness, good sportsmanship, just to name a few. It was also very fun. It was very competitive, which I like, because with competition you grow. And with the process, you could also make good friends along the way. You could establish networks, um, and so that's it's a very very good process. I benefited tremendously from the process. And in fact, I was able to join my current firm because of that experience. So my firm, SSEK, was one of our sponsors, one of the companies that financed our team. And so in exchange for that financing, they had us interned at SSEK for a period of time. And so without the moot court experience, I would not have joined this firm. So yeah, so it was a great process.
Well, you mentioned yourself that doing mooting helped you actually get into your current firm, SSEK. But was lawyering always the goal for you?
Lawyering was a goal when I entered university. It was either lawyering or maybe pursuing a career of being a diplomat. Um, but yeah, I mean, for sure, I think primarily lawyering was one of the goals.
So because you had the opportunity to continue in it as a CK, so you just bought into it and joined the firm?
Yeah, I think it was when we had that internship, when I had that internship with SSEK after I did my mood. There was, I mean, I was exposed. I got into, sorry, a number of projects. They involved me on a number of projects as an intern, and there were some moments during the working process that that was so interesting and was so intellectually challenging, and it kind of reminded me of the moot court days, right? When we were doing moot court, it was a very grueling and challenging intellectual process. And so, with that, I just bought into it, and then I said, okay, maybe this is, the career that I wanted to pursue. And so after moot court, I ended up at this firm.
And now your practice is also in arbitration, dispute resolution, and also multiple other corporate law sectors. Did doing moot courts influence you into this sort of practice group?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so, more or less. Just because the moot court process teaches you, or it sets you up in this problem solving challenge, right? And so which just makes it interesting. And in the legal world, it's a in the becoming a lawyer, you would understand that the main part of the job is about problem solving. And so if you like a challenge, if you like the problem solving aspect of any, of anything in life, I'm sure you'd enjoy being a lawyer.
Okay, that's really nice to hear that mooting not only opened you up to the world of like litigation and also helped you with the skills you need, the skill sets for being a lawyer and also a legal practitioner. But I really want to know, you've become a partner, a very young partner in such a big firm. You've become a partner in SSEK since 2022. What would you say are the things which distinct you from the rest to have such a fast growth in such a big firm?
Distinguish myself from others. Oh, that's an interesting question. Distinguish the rest from whom? Who are we talking about specifically? Are we
From the
talking
rest
about my
of the peers.
peers or from the rest of my peers? I honestly don't know. I mean, I don't really keep track of. Um, I guess what I would say to that is maybe my peers outside of the firm. Not that I follow or keep track of them that closely, but in the current climate where you have headhunters and a growing um, variety of industries, you see a lot of movement in the workforce. And um, I've received a number of offers and opportunities elsewhere as well. And what I would say, I think, I'm not sure I'm not sure if this is necessarily exclusive just for me, but I think just that, you know, being in a single office or being in the same office for a long period of time, for a long period of time, I think might be one that I think that I value. Now, I'm not sure if it that particularly distinguishes me from others. I'm sure there might be or there would be others that have stayed at their office or their profession for a number of years as well. Um, but from what I hear and from what I learn from the market is that you don't necessarily see much of that anymore. And so for me personally at SSEK was like my first real permanent job. And so I've been with SSEK for forever, throughout my professional life. And I think that would be it. And I think, just from being in the same office for as long as, forever, um, I think it teaches you a lot, I think resilience, um, um, I think that'd be it. I don't know. I'm not sure if I answered your question. I hope I did, but that's probably it. Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Well, to stay in your office, maybe like stay over after hours and such, did you have a certain mindset that helped you pull through those, well, sort of grueling hours of work and just like made you, well, helped you go through all the challenges you might overcome?
Okay, long hours was not that big of a problem for me when I entered the firm. And now that I could say that the moot court, that was one of the things that I learned throughout the moot court experience. It was the long and grueling hours. When we were doing Jessup, I think we stayed almost every day until 5 a.m., 4 a.m., researching, discussing, brainstorming, debating. I think we started at 5 p.m. We started around 4 or 5. We had a coach who was working back then. And so she would, Fitria, Fitria Khairani was our coach, our Jessup coach. I love Fitria so much. Very good mentor. And Winchen also was also a coach so of our team back then. And so they were working professionals. So we would start practice after they left their respective offices. We would convene at our usual base camp. I think it would start around 5 or 6 p.m. and we would only finish around 4 or 5 in the morning. Then we would have class, or if we were too tired, we didn't go to class. And then we would research. There were always assignments in every session, and so we had to follow up. We had to do research, find the answers, and then to do it again, right? And go to the base camp, have our practice session, have that debate, and all those things, all those wonderful things until 4 5 a.m. in the morning. And so we would do that routinely every day. And so I was, everyone was accustomed to it. And so when we entered the workforce, we heard all these horror stories about working late hours, no working hours essentially, right? You work every single second, and just to meet deadlines, you would have to work late hours, right? Beyond midnight, burning the midnight oil, as they say. And so the moot court process prepared us for that eventuality, right? Those late working hours. We were used to it. It was no problem for us. So, yeah, there was one of the benefits, I would say, from the moot court experience that prepared us for the workforce.
So doing mooting did not just equip you with the skills that you needed, but also the perseverance to just push through with your line of work too, yeah.
Yeah, perseverance, resilience. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this next question is also something I guess the current ILMS member and the people watching this alumni profile and me personally would really want to know. As a partner and also as someone who has had years of experience in the industry, what are the most important traits you would look for in young legal practitioners?
Oh, the traits, just hard work and having that desire of wanting to continuously learn and grow. I think that would be the most important. We talked about resilience. That's also very important. Kids these days have to be patient as well, right? You would want to work your way up and not necessarily rush into certain personal milestones. I think that's very important. Being independent and reliable, just being a good colleague and be prepared to contribute to the team in the best way possible. Have good character, essentially. You work in a group environment for the most part, so you would have to learn and to know how to deal with other people. So that would be some of the traits that I would look for, from young legal practitioners, and also just being responsive and being a responsible professional. So you own up, you invest in your own work product, try to deliver the work product in time. This profession is a service industry, so you service clients, you try to make clients happy. And in our line of work, in this line of work, there are deadlines, so you try your best to meet those deadlines, unless there are valid reasons where you can't necessarily achieve that deadline. but you have to find a good reason for that. But so yeah, I mean, so just to sum up, I suppose, hard work, having the desire of wanting to continuously learn and grow, resilience, patience, dependence, being reliable, um, ability to work in a group, responsiveness, being a responsible professional, being detailed oriented as well. So yeah, those will be the traits.
That's a very, very valuable insight for all of us. This is a very personal question, but I would really like to know, like, did you struggle or did you juggle work with family or maybe during your university years? Because that is something that maybe a lot of people, when you're working like long hours and with very demanding tasks and also jobs, maybe it would be something that we all experience. Do you have some tips for us? Juggling work with like family or maybe other activities outside of working?
I think that's always going to be a constant challenge, because there's only so many hours in a day. There's only just one of you. You have priorities. Work is a priority. Family is a priority. So dividing up your time between these two priorities or two or more other priorities would be a challenge. I think with experience, you just find a way to try just in your work to try to find a way to deliver and complete your work faster and better, right? So you could achieve a lot of things faster, I think, as you go, um, as you grow in your career, and so I think that helps. And also just from the professional side, just to have a good support system. If you have a spouse, if you choose to have a spouse, just be open with your spouse about your work priorities and have your spouse buy into that. And it does help, at least in my experience, um, to you know, you know to have a spouse that understands that line of work, right? And I'm not saying that that's the only way of managing the relationship, but um, that certainly helps. Um, and I don't think there's just that perfect blueprint of trying to balance life and work. I don't think there is any such thing. I think you'll definitely challenges are inevitable. I think you just have to push through, and if there are issues, try your best to overcome it. And how to overcome it depends on the issues that arise. For instance, if there is a conflict between a family time and a work deadline, how do you manage that, right? And I mean, there are ways to overcome that. For instance, in my experience, you would try to finish the work earlier ahead of time before the family priority comes up. So by the time you are supposed to interact with your family, you would have completed the work. Um, and so that maybe that's one way. Another way is maybe involve your colleagues at the office, um, or distribute work in an efficient manner, so that you could manage your various priorities and time it up such that you can minimize conflict as much as possible. So there's a very ways to overcome certain issues, and as I'm sure that everyone will learn um, to do as they as as you grow in life, I suppose.
So maybe rather than sacrificing one for the other, you just try and manage your time and work better and more efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you put it much better than I did. as, as you can see, I'm still, you know, trying to find my way as well. It's not an easy process for sure, but just do your best essentially, and hope it'll go everyone's way.
Okay, maybe on to our last question. Well,
Oh,
over the years, you have achieved numerous awards, even being recognized as one of ALB Indonesia's rising stars. And I'm really interested to know your view on what was actually your biggest achievement throughout your experience in career and life.
oh wow. Kind of a loaded question there. Okay. Biggest achievement in professional life. I, it's hard to say, honestly. I'm not sure if I could just pinpoint to just one. I've had, you know, I've had many fortunate opportunities where I was able to complete or I was involved in completing, complicated projects and assignments. I'm not sure if I could get into that in any detail, and there were a few of them, there were a bunch of them. And so I'm not sure if I could just pinpoint to just one specific achievement per se. That's what I would say on the professional side. On the personal side, I have I'm not sure if this is cliche, but I have a healthy and hopefully happy family. I think just taking care of them and growing together, both personally and as a collective unit, um, I think that brings a lot of joy, honestly. And just on that note, I have an 18-year-old daughter who just recently flew off to Tokyo, Japan to pursue her studies. And, I just so much pride in that. My daughter Shana, um, who, um, you know, decided on her own without any encouragement from her parents, to pursue her studies, um, and hopefully her professional career overseas. And so I thought that was pretty cool. As a parent, you get excitement from that, not necessarily because she's studying overseas for me personally, but because she had that, she was able to decide for herself, which showed to me independence and growth. And so that was, I think, so much pride in that, and so I think that was, I mean, there's still a long process to go, but just that in and of itself brought so much joy for me personally. And I just hope, the best for her in the future. I hope she completes the studies, and whatever happens afterwards, it's really entirely up to her. And I'm hoping the best for Shana. And yeah.
Well, your answer really ended this interview in a very sweet note. I guess it could be something we could all look forward to, with your numerous achievements in your professional work, field, and also maybe, well, we could all say having a successful life too, with your family and also other stuff other than work. It could all be something we all look forward to after our university and also our career. Thank you so much, Bang Nico, for your answer. I guess this would end today's interview. Maybe to Tiara or Vanessa, are we missing
So
something?
yeah, sorry, before we end things, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for the platform and to the ILMS team for setting this up. I think it's a good program. I just want a quick shout out to to my main moot court coaches and teammates that helped me throughout the moot court process um, in the past, right? And just special and quick shout out to Hannah Askia, my first moot court coach, the best person ever. And my IHL teammates, Ganda and Marcia, My Jessup coaches, Fitri Hairani and Vincent Santoso. There were a number of other coaches as well. I'm not sure if I could name them one by one, maybe another opportunity. But my Jessup teammates, again, Ganda, my brother, Sume, who I think is in New York these days, haven't spoken in a while, and Tracy, who's a partner at AHP. So very super grateful, for the various, moments and experiences that I shared with these great individuals. And as I said, it just sort of a final note for the young practitioners coming up in the industry, or maybe who just entered or who are entering university. The moot court experience will offer a lot of great benefits, not only for you individually, but also hopefully your professional career in the future. So I do encourage and I do hope that there's a lot of you that would see it and maybe open yourself up to joining and going through this, albeit long and grueling and maybe scary process, but hopefully you would reap the rewards and benefits afterwards. So maybe that I would close with that. And thank you again to the ILMS team for setting this up, and hopefully everyone. I'm hoping everyone all the best and hope you all can enjoy the holidays and Happy New Year.
Thank you for your closing statement, Bang.